Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate all your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. For those that were in time zones that made it difficult, if you stayed up for the game, I hope you enjoyed the Indiana Fever win over the Los Angeles Sparks. Let's dig into that uncensored and unafraid. We have things to talk about. Now, I'm probably going to do a video later today, going and collecting some clips and analyzing if it's some good stuff that I can find and breaking down film. But right now, I really just want to talk about my thoughts for the game, the good, the bad, the ugly, the hey, this is going to be good in the future. So let's dig into this. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I truly do appreciate it. First, I'm going to start off and say, look, a win is a win at the professional level, period. Okay. Now, of course, as fans and people in the media, you're always going to critique and criticize and dissect every single win and loss. That's just part of the deal. It's part of the fun for a lot of people as well. So let's look into this. I'm going to get in. This is why I started out with it's a big win. Yeah, it was a Los Angeles Sparks, but again, a win is a win. Let's go. I want to get to the positives. So I want to end with those. So I want to get out some of like, oh, this is kind of a red flag. This is something that worries me a little bit. And I did a whole video on this. I even have some more stuff coming, breaking things down. But no pick and roll game with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark is insane. There was none of it. And I know Aaliyah played 23 minutes. She got into foul trouble. I get it. And we're going to get to that in a second. But I won't get into too much. I did a video on it recently you could look at where when Stephanie White got hired, she's talking about how Leah Boston and Caitlin Clark are like Stockton and Malone. They're going to have the best pick and roll game in the history of basketball, which I would agree with. And then just recently, she's like, "Oh, well, the other team knows we want to run the pick and roll, so we're not going to run it." It's like that right there. We can get rid of everything else you want to talk about with Stephanie White, and that right there is for me is like, yeah, you're gone. You're not the coach for this team. But anyway, that brings me to that next point with that foul trouble stuff, and we've talked about this before, and now we've seen it already in game two. No backup center for Aaliyah Boston on this roster. Already someone that we knew would get, and it's not even just the foul trouble, it's the injury risk, but it's also just the fact that you don't want her playing 38 minutes a game. They never went out and got a true backup center for Aaliyah Boston that can take up maybe 10 minutes normally, 12, 15, 20 if Aaliyah Boston's in foul trouble. And look, with the overcorrection of the referees, we got something on that coming eventually soon as well. You just knew Aaliyah Boston when the refs corrected the extreme other way, although they still miss a lot of stuff. It's really weird. Anyway, but you knew Aaliyah Boston was going to get into foul trouble, which means you need a backup center. It's not complicated. That reared its head for sure tonight. Kelsey Mitchell. I've said a lot of things, and I'll remind people again how often I said she's the best shooting guard in the league. That being said, she needs to give us something else. Kelsey Mitchell cannot just be a bucket because, first of all, she means she's got to shoot lights out every game, and that's not going to happen. She's 5 of 18 from three in 2 games. People want to talk about Caitlin Clark, but she did not have an assist. She did not have a rebound. I think she was credited with 1 steal, but we know she can't play defense. I shouldn't say she can't. She's not a good defender. Uh, she's got to give a little more, right? That's the difference. When Caitlin Clark isn't shooting well, she brings so much else to the game. Kelsey Mitchell needs to give us something else for those nights that she's not shooting. She can't be just a scorer. Team didn't run enough, right? Not it wasn't high tempo enough for me. Not enough transition. Um, Again, the Caitlin three is a struggle right now. I think it will get corrected, but right now it is definitely a struggle. But so is Kelsey Mitchell, as I just said. But this is a red flag. However, I think it will resort to the mean eventually for both, which means the league's in trouble. So it's also I'm finding the silver lining in the red flag because Caitlin Clark 3 for 16, Kelsey Mitchell 5 for 18. But they're 1-1 and 1 3-pointer away from that Dallas game going into overtime and a whole bunch of other plays that they left out on the court as well. So think about that. 8 for 34. And this team probably should be what, 2-0, right? Uh, Just think when they start hitting, when that 8 for 34 becomes 12, 14 for 34, 15, 16 maybe, right? Big, big, big difference when they start hitting because then also people have to worry even a little more, right? So that is a red flag and also something we can look at for really good. Now, again, I will even though I'm in my red flags list since I'm talking about it. Caitlin Clark was 9 for 17 from this game. This game. So was Kelsey Mitchell, right? And they had similar numbers in the first game too, where they both shot 2 for 9 from three. By the way, Caitlin was 8 for 10 from two this game. Kelsey Mitchell was 6 for 8 from two this game. 16 for 18 from two for your guards. Wow, when that three starts dropping for them as well, because these two have both been almost automatic from two, which is insane. Now, Stephanie White, I'm not even going to go into too much. We saw the lack of the pick and roll. So, yeah, I mean, she's always a red flag. The Sparks are not a very good team, and they also didn't play very well. So, that's a problem. So, take the win with a grain of salt in that way. But again, like I said, at the pro level, a win is a win. Now, this is maybe not so much a red flag, or I guess some of these aren't all red flags. That was just what I was using. Maybe a bit more of a concern. Lexi Hall with only one shot again, 2 games. Now, I know she's playing more limited minutes, but still, would she play 15 minutes in the first game? I think 13 last night, one shot in each game. That is a concern, but let's get on with the celebration and flip to some of the good stuff, even when not hitting on all cylinders, even when the coach is slowing it down, taking the ball out of Caitlin's hands, not having the pick and roll. This team can still be incredibly dangerous because they just have too much talent. And you know what? They only need to be average on defense, if that, some nights. So that is a concern for the rest of the league without a doubt. There's just a whole lot of offensive talent on this team. Sophie Cunningham getting 9 shots, taking 5 threes. By the way, going 5 for 9 and 2 for 5 from three. And also, big one, because I talked about a key to the game 7 rebounds for Sophie Cunningham. If the Fever get even close to equal on the boards and they cut back on second chance points for the other teams, again, that's a big, big problem for the rest of the league with the offensive firepower this team's had. And now this is, I was going to say Michaela Timpson's play. That's kind of a mixed bag here. I don't like that she only got 9 points this game, 9 points, 9 minutes, especially with Aaliyah Boston only playing 23 because Timpson had 19 minutes last game. But so we'll see how that goes. But overall, good. Like Michaela Timpson, the way she's playing, I like that. That is a big thing. Ty Harris played extremely well in her 15 minutes. Now, of course, the flip of that, while we're here, the flip of that is, what does that mean for Raven Johnson, who only played 5 minutes this game? Something to keep an eye on is how Stephanie White manages those minutes. This goes back to what I was saying about too many guards, especially guards at the same position. You can't be sitting Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, right? If they're healthy and not in foul trouble, they're playing 30 plus minutes a game. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works with both Raven and Ty going forward. You got to have players with good attitudes who could sometimes say, "Hey, you know what? This is what we're going to have to do." Raven, you're only a rookie, okay? Ty was brought in as a vet for doing exactly what she's doing. But the flip side of that is, I think it may be if Stephanie White does it correctly, it's going to be who's playing well and what do you need on the court. That's going to be a big deal as well. Um, Overall, I'm not gonna crash out. And I gave you my red flags, but I hopefully didn't make it seem like it was the end of the world. Overall, I thought this was a good, solid win for the Fever. I think it was a win they needed for their confidence. Again, you can see the offensive talent. I think it's a little restrained, a little restricted from Stephanie White. I should say on Caitlin Clark, but I mean, here's the thing. We're looking at these 2 games. I mean, like, Caitlin's not really being allowed to be Caitlin too often enough. First game, 20 points, 7 assists. Second game, 24 points, 9 assists. And this is why I keep telling people, like, Caitlin should easily be like a 22-11, 22-12, 24-12 player, right? Because again, you look at these 2 games, and that's what? Averaging 22 a game and 8 assists a game. And the training wheels are still on. Think about that, which again goes back to what I say about this team and that they're uber talented, which is one of the reasons a lot of people get upset and crash out when they see things they don't like or they don't understand why Stephanie White won't run the pick and roll. Because I think this team can win despite Stephanie White. Imagine if they get her to make some changes, or if Caitlin Clark, which I think she did a little bit in this game, said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to be me." We saw a little bit of that. She got a technical foul, right? She was a little bit of a demon there, a typical Caitlin Clark. We see more and more of that. Man, like the level, the ceiling for this team is very, very high. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, appreciate you being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill by now. Hype on mobile, notification bell, ding ding. I will talk to you later.